Hi, this is Sean Kelly, founder of Franchise Truth, and this is Kismet. Franchise sellers will tell you that franchising is the safest route to business ownership. They claim that franchising is highly regulated. They might even tell you that franchisors and salespeople can't lie to you without serious repercussions. None of these representations are true. Meet the Hounds Town USA franchise opportunity, supposedly the home of the happiest dogs on earth. Here's what Mike Gould, the franchisor of the Hounds Town USA pet boarding franchise, tells prospective franchisees in his publicly posted sales videos. It's Rick Kismet, you watch it too. Oh.
Here's the other benefit of franchising. It's so regulated in favor of the consumer, meaning we have what we call franchise disclosure documents. We have agreements. It's all geared that you have to be licensed by each state you operate in.
Well, I didn't want Kismet to have to hear this, but everything that Mike Gould just said in that video is pretty much false. There is no state licensing program. There's no state licensing requirement. There never has been. There's not a federal licensing requirement for franchises. There's no oversight by any government agency. The only thing he did say that was true is that they have what's called a franchise disclosure document. And right here on the front of this franchise disclosure document, this one's for Hounds Town, it says, note, however, that no governmental agency has verified the information contained in this document. So there's no oversight, and there's nobody, well, except for me, to call Mike Gould on this outright falsehood. Now, later on in that video, franchisors Jackie Bondanza and Mike Gould claim that opening a Hounds Town USA requires very little effort or expertise by the franchisee. They state that they hand their franchisees a fully operational business on a silver platter.
A lot of things that go into opening your own business, and when you open a franchise, what's great about it is you have the support, you have the structure, you have the infrastructure that you need to succeed. So it's like being handed a business on a silver platter.
Give you a business on a silver platter, and the only way I think, in my view, fail is if you don't follow our system.
So pet lover Sarah Bigelow and her husband Alan, who's a pilot for American Airlines, they discovered the Hounds Town USA franchise while exploring business opportunities. And that's exactly what they were looking for, was the description that Mike gave them about being handed a business on a silver platter.
We always wanted to own our own business. She's a huge pet person.
Yeah, I love dogs. I love cats. I love them all.
We figured, you know what? Why not do something she loves? So we decided we really liked the model that this franchise had, and we decided let's go ahead and talk to them about it.
We're going the franchise route was just because of their resources and the guidance and their expertise. We had no construction experience, no experience, so we were that's what we were looking for.
And we thought this would be easy, getting a known franchise that knew how to do it for us.
You know, I felt we did our research. We ended up signing with them, and it was a mistake.
It was a terrible mistake.
So according to a lawsuit here filed against Hounds Town USA LLC by the Bigelows, they trusted Mike Gould and Jackie Bondanza's misleading and deceptive representations. After signing up for a Hounds Town USA franchise, the Bigelows claim that the process of trying to get their pet boarding facility built and open was a personal and a financial nightmare. The Bigelows lawsuit states that the Hounds Town designated construction manager subjected them to, quote, excessive and unexplained construction delays, overbilling for materials, fraudulent falsified contractor bids, repeated permit denials, and professional incompetence. The process the construction manager promised he could complete in 6 weeks actually took 70 weeks, nearly 70 weeks. It resulted in expenses and losses of more than $600,000. It cost the Bigelows the retirement savings it had taken them 30 plus years to save, and the stress and the anxiety of struggling to open her Hounds Town franchise put Sarah Bigelow into a mental and emotional crisis, pushing her dangerously close to a nervous breakdown.
when we opened. We had all kinds of issues and very little response from Hounds Town.
Throughout this whole time, I'm constantly taking another $100,000 out of our 401k, taking another $100,000. We're having headache after headache. She, poor thing, she's managing it now that it's open, and so she's about to have a nervous breakdown, literally.
The whole summer.
She's seeing a counselor, or her family came down, and they agreed that she was on the verge of literally breaking down.
That whole summer leading up to training, I was nervous.
It just was not worth it, so I just said, you know what, let's just close it. But it was that, or she was going to end up in the hospital.
I was so angry about the way Mike Gould misrepresented that Hounds Town manager and what we went through with them because of his misrepresentation.
Franchisees, if you might agree, come into this saying, well, how am I going to do this? The franchisee, they're skeptical, right? They want to know, how is Hounds Town USA going to support them? So we shake hands, we sign agreements, and they have to trust me. They have to look in my eyes and say, all right, this guy, he may be or have a lot of faults, but he's not a BS artist. It's straightforward trust between franchisor and franchisee.
And we trusted them. Right. And so this was supposed to generate post-retirement income for us. Well, we were going through all the income, and we had very little left, and that stressed me out the most. It's like the financial stress that they put us through that could have been avoided.
So not only that, but it's the lying. It's a constant lying. It wasn't just once in a while. It was the lying. And Mike Gould would come back. Lying is a very strong word. Mike and Jackie should be sitting in a jail cell next to Ed Baroff. I mean, that was my feeling. They all three should be charged with a crime and be sitting in the jail cell.
Defendant denies that any of the alleged actions were the proximate cause of plaintiff's alleged injuries. Defendant states that any emotional distress was not reasonably foreseeable. I mean, neither Mike Gould nor Jackie Bondanza have a crystal ball. How could they tell that destroying somebody's finances and mental health could have an adverse effect on them? The Bigelows have lost more than $600,000, 3 years of their life, and their ability to trust anybody. However, good news, Mike Gould sleeps like a baby.
We're not motivated by money. We are straightforward. I go to bed at night knowing that I have bent over backwards for each of my franchisees.
So if franchising were regulated as Mike Gould and other franchise sellers claim, those who make up their own facts, those who lie, mislead, deceive in order to exploit the trust of those who seek the American dream of business ownership, like the Bigelows, they'd be filling up jail cells across America. But until that happens, don't assume that any representations made by franchise sellers, even those made in their franchise disclosure documents, can be trusted without independent verification and guidance from an experienced and a hardened, cynical advisor. And even then, buyer beware.
Facts are facts. You can't get away from the facts, Jack.
That you tend to make some up sometimes.